Morning, everyone. Oh, can you hear me back there? Morning. Is this on? Lots more, or a couple more people come through, but I wanted to do a couple room logistics. If you've never been here to Hunt Library or Duke Energy Hall, your bathrooms are straight across in the yellow alcove area. And we will be having lunch today starting after our presentations. So you'll see your catering table back there. Just for if you're waiting and hanging out and meeting some of the people at your table, there is a crossword puzzle on the tables, and it was created by our own Carla Monroe. If you are looking to do something and get to know what your colleagues know about NC State, that's a fun thing for you to do at the table while you're just hanging out and waiting, either now or at lunch. So that's just kind of an extra activity for you. And we'll get started pretty close to 10 o'clock, so just a couple minutes. Good morning. All right. Is this testing? Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning for our ORI staff kickoff. I'm going to start with having Dr. Vogt come up and say a quick welcome, and then we're going to get into a fun icebreaker at your tables. So, Dr. Vogt.
Well, first of all, good morning, everybody. It's really good to see you. It's the beginning of a physical year, but of course our year actually started, FY24 started in July. But if I haven't seen you before, Happy New Year. We are still in January, so I can say that without. And we really have had a fantastic year. And I really do want to thank everybody for your efforts, because without you, without the faculty and everybody else involved, it wouldn't have happened. So I'm going to hand you over to Laura at this point in time. And I do apologize for my voice, but I haven't been shouting, it's just going around. So I'll see you soon.
Unfortunately, both Malad and I are getting over something, so we both have lost our voice coming into today. But so at this point, if you have been to a kickoff before, you know that we like to try to get everybody in the room moving and excited before we go into celebrating our, our great achievements and our colleagues. So today, you have a fun icebreaker on your table, which is essentially live hungry hippos. So in the center of the table, you'll see a pile of candy. You also see a stack of Solo cups. If you are interested in participating, go ahead and grab 2 Solo cups. Those are going to be used for your hands. So you're going to stick your hands in the Solo cup, both sides. And the objective is going to be to try to grab the candy in the middle. And we want to try to make sure you're not trying to just scoop candy towards you. You definitely have to try to do a pick-up motion, bring it in front of you at the table. If there are not enough cups at your table, then we might have to do it in multiple rounds. But we're going to give everybody, for this first 1 minute to attempt the hungry hippo game. So everyone get your hands with your Solo cups. You put your hands in your Solo cups. What am I doing with the Solo cups? Okay. All right. Is everyone ready? All right, we're going to do 1 round of 1 minute, and then we'll do a couple more rounds just in case. All right, ready, set, go. Ten seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'll stop. Okay. Who ended up with the biggest pile at each table? Raise your hand. Is anyone surprised at who was the winner at your tables? No? Yes? Oh, okay. Who had the most interesting technique? Anybody have an interesting technique? Okay. Do you guys want to do one more round, or do you want to? Yeah? Well, sorry, you're going to have to push your candy back. Okay. If you're willing to do another round and put your candy back in the middle now that you've had a chance to try, if you want to keep certain parts of your candy that you got, no big deal. All right, so if you're willing to share again with your colleagues, go ahead and push some candy back to the middle of your table. We're going to do one more round of 1 minute Give me 1 second. Okay. Is everybody ready with their solo cup hands? On your marks, get set, go. Oh my gosh. 30 seconds. All right, you got 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All stop. All right. So hopefully that got everybody's juices flowing. We're excited to be here today with our colleagues and our ORI staff members. So I really do appreciate everybody taking the time to join us today. We have a decent group online as well. So thank you everybody for coming. And we're gonna start today with a presentation, a special presentation from Dr. Volk. And then we will move on today to celebrate our new employees, years of service, and Pride of the Wolfpack winners. So Dr. Volk.
Well, good morning. I'm back. I was going to make comments on the fights that broke out over this candy. But at our table, guess who was the winner? The head of HR. So I'm not getting into this. So as I said, I'm really pleased with how we have been doing over the last year. Actually, the data on this slide are FY22, but FY23 data are actually looking pretty good. We'll probably have expenditures which are over 600 million, which is pretty good. But doing so well, you know, we have maybe $1.5 billion in proposals going out and something like close to 500 million in funding coming in. The problem with this success is that we also have to keep moving our infrastructure with it. And you are part of the infrastructure, but there's also other things that need to happen, services and additional funding. We have a lot of additional compliance demands from the government, and that is a bit of a challenge. So I think this year we will be trying to resolve some of those things and do really well as we do already, but also add to the infrastructure. When you look, a large fraction of what we do is, at least in the research on the research side, is federal funding. And federal funding or expenditures that we had, excuse me, last year are quite substantial and distributed relatively uniformly across the agencies. The distribution for FY23 looks very much the same, and the distribution for 24 will probably look very similar to this. So we have a relatively stable distribution, but we want to grow the expenditures. So let me say a few things about what we do, where we are really good at. We have last year in many ways involved in research facilitation services like PDU and what the Office of Research Operations and Communications does, close to 800 researchers and faculty. But if you think about it, what we have centrally is maybe in Sparks, maybe 30 people, about half of them doing compliance, the other half doing sponsored programs. But on the outside, colleges and centers and so on, there is about 150 positions that worry about pre and post, and there's about 1,800 faculty generating input. So if we're not careful, it's very easy to get the pipes congested simply because of the traffic. And so one of the challenges that we do need to solve this year is to make sure that we don't get into the congestion situation, but that we either manage some of these cases ahead of time if we see them coming, or we try to have a very good way of dealing with them when they show up. Because we did move from radar to red in July, and that has caused a little bit of a delay here and there. But I think we are out of that particular problem. I think we're stabilizing, and we actually have really fantastic results. We have, as I said, $1.5 billion in proposals going out. And this year, in fact, we are much ahead of that. We are probably 10% ahead of that. We have already now about $1.4 billion. It's only halfway through the year. And we have had $476 million in awards. This year, we already have over $300 million. Now, is the trend going to continue? And you can't just multiply by 2 because there are cycles, but nevertheless, it's really great. And faculty are fantastic. But as I said, you guys are actually really making it happen. We have had some really big wins in the last several months, and I'll talk about one of them. We have 45 centers. We have internal awards, seed grants, which are really important. But what's currently very visible is something that's called Commercial Leap Ahead for Wide Bandgap Semiconductors. It's a CHIPS funded. CHIPS is the law, the Science Act, CHIPS and Science Act, that is helping build semiconductor capabilities in the United States. And we have CLAWS, as it's called. Acronyms are fantastic. You just have to work hard on it. So it actually comes. But CLAWS is in the process of bootstrapping the whole effort for us. We are in a very good position to really lead that, but again, infrastructural challenges are happening as we speak, and we have to find a way of handling that so that large proposals, large grants are done with ease rather than with effort every time. There is another one that we just heard about. Power America, of course, was when we received the Power America funding in 2015, President Obama came to NC State and actually bootstrapped the whole thing. And that was a $160 million or so grant. Clause is actually $40 million this year and potentially another $300 million over the next 5 years. And we heard just last week, I think it was Friday, President Biden actually announced a grant, which is $160 million grant in the domain of textiles. That is, we are not the lead, but there are several community colleges and a nonprofit in the Charlotte area that are leading that. But it's amazing because successes are coming. So the question is, can we keep up with the demand that comes with that? So that's one of the challenges for this year. But this is fantastic. We have, and just if you haven't noticed, let me go back for a second. At the top of each of these is essentially one of our goals. And I'm just going through some of the elements of that were happening over the last year. So one of our goals is to foster an inclusive, equitable, and diverse culture of excellence and continuous strategic improvement. And we do that really well. CMAST grant, for instance, and the CMAST operation and C grant operation has diversified. Thank you, Susan. Water Resources Research Initiative is helping rural communities. We are launching RED modules, and we have several other activities, but one of the ones that's quite interesting is the one that Power America has done. They have a few years back received funding for, so what was happening during a pandemic is that Native American communities were considerably disadvantaged because they did not have enough power available in their areas. And as a result, it's very hard to keep vaccines, it's very hard to do anything where you need power. And this is a grant that NIST has given or granted to Power America to actually enable the next time some pandemic or some emergency shows up, enable Native American communities to be much more resilient. So very important. A similar thing, by the way, is true also for the NSF Engines grant that I just mentioned a few minutes ago that President Biden was here for. And that one also is concerned about growing abilities for research and innovation in more rural parts of the state. So so one thing that we want to do is very much leverage partnerships that we can with our colleagues in industry and government. And some of the leading institutions for that is Nonwovens Institute that has a number of, very large number of partners, but also research agreements that help do that. Power America has something like 90 consortium members, and ITRI has considerable interactions with not only state government agencies, but also with others. I don't know how many of you know that we have a facility in Asheville called NKICS, and it's a center that's focused on climate and analysis of the data. They're actually resident in the federal facility over there, and they do a lot of interesting things, including some fantastic high-performance computing stuff and data management. And one of the things that we do have to address for researchers this year is, in fact, data storage and high-performance computing and in general computing facilities. AI, of course, is at the top of the list, but there are other topics as well. And so we'll be hearing much more about that. Quantum has been around for a while, and that effort is now stabilizing, and it's going to grow. We have some partners that are quite interested in providing low-cost quantum computing, so that'll be coming this year. Self-driving labs is an interesting concept that is part of this effort to accelerate research. Self-driving labs are essentially entities where you have robots and other type of automation speeding up manual processes that you very often have when you do experiments. Very often the experiments consist of trying different combinations of chemicals, different combinations of processes, and so on. And that can be very laborious, very tedious, takes up a lot of time. If you can automate that, you can speed up, accelerate research. And we have a group of faculty in engineering and chemistry, and essentially related to the new building that's being built, where the round building, I don't know how many remember the old Harlison Hall, yeah, where when you would be in a room, you would be teaching to the wrong end of the, the inside, the blackboard goes like, so you don't see that at all. So that was pulled down some years ago, but the new building, ISB, Integrative Sciences building, is coming up, and part of the top 3 floors there will be research, and some of the things in those labs is going to be automation of the laboratory functions. So that's, and Dr. Abu Hassani, who is one of the people who is spearheading this. One of the things and units that is particularly successful is our commercialization unit that has been for years raking in awards and successes. And it is translation of what we do in the labs into practice. So we actually have something to hold in hand beyond the paper, particularly something that's useful, is very important for NC State work. And for instance, we are number 2 in active license options. We have, there is something, and I'll talk about it in a second. There are some products or research advances that we have made that have to do with reducing methane in the air and so on. So if you look at that, there's something that's called hoofprint biome. And I have to say this because it's bothering me every time I see the title. There's a song at Christmas where grandma is run over by the... And apparently one of the words in there is hoofprints are visible. So it's, by the way, a really good startup. It's just... they are basically trying to provide enzymes and other proteins to put them in the feed for cattle so they would produce less methane. And cattle are one of the biggest producers of gases that warm the atmosphere, and reducing that would be really helpful. So this particular startup that actually lives in part in the PSB building, or the Plant Sciences building, which is fantastic. The other thing that we do want to do, and do, I think, well, we would like to advance the research brand and reputation. We are in the process of actually hiring our chief communications officer for the university. Left a few months back, and the university is in the process of hiring a new person into that position. And one of the interesting things that I always want to ask the person, I'm sort of not, I don't do it because it's probably not the right thing to do, is when our colleagues down the road in light blue do something, they are very good at advertising that and making it come up. We are much more conservative when we do that, and it would be really helpful if we could celebrate our research successes and other things more often. Now, we do have a unit in ORI that focuses on that, and they do a good job, but I'm talking about the celebration outside and advertising outside. So, but some of the things that help us showcase what we do are some of the efforts that LAS does in data sciences. It's National Science Foundation I-Corps, which trains basically people who want to do startups in what they need to do it well. And we are very good at that. And we have actually one of the largest numbers of fellows in the National Academy of Inventors. And in fact, in the summer, we will actually be hosting the next National Academy of Inventors annual meeting. So we are very good at it. We just would like to grow that as well. One of the people inducted into the Academy recently is Dr. Barango, and his specialty is CRISPR technology, but we have a number of other people, of course, who are already in the Academy and some more coming up. So I'm sure you know what we do, but some of the things, sometimes it's good to, I'm not going to go through every single one of these bullets, but it's interesting. What I've noticed is that sometimes people don't quite know what ORI and affiliated centers do. And I think we should all try to help people understand the value of the activities that you have in your offices. So whenever you have an opportunity, do advertise. And this is a long list of our activities, from core facilities to research operations and communications and different centers that are affiliated. And again, I think it's fantastic that we have that. And I just want to emphasize that ORI drives success. It is an entity that helps NC State research grow. But it doesn't mean that the folks that are in colleges, as I said, quite a large number, and folks in centers do not have an extremely important role, because essentially we couldn't do it without you, and it would be probably a little bit more difficult for everybody on the outside to do it as well without us in the inside. So I think we're doing well. I really do want to again thank you, all of you, for what you're doing, and I'm open to questions if you have some, or I think I don't have any jokes, so I'm gonna not tell them, but thank you again. I really appreciate it, and I wish everybody a really successful both fiscal year and what's left of the fiscal year. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Volk. So at this time, we're going to get into a little celebration of our colleagues and our employees. So we're going to start off with welcoming our new staff. Let me make sure it's at the top there. Cool. And I'm going to ask Heidi to come up and present this piece of our agenda.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see so many friendly faces, and there's so many more people than last year. It's nice to see. This is our second annual Pride of the Wolfpack Award. I just want to say thank you for coming and being here to support all of your coworkers and recognizing their achievements and milestones for Pride of the Wolfpack and years of service, as well as being introduced to all of the new employees that we've onboarded in the past year. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Heidi Barbaran. I'm the Director of Human Resources. And I would like to introduce the rest of our HR team. That's Roxanne Wheeler and Sarah Fief. Roxanne is going to be introducing our employees that are new to ORI this year and have been onboarded between January 1st and December 31st. And Sarah is going to be recognizing our employees who are reaching their years of service milestones. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Roxanne.
Morning. Yes, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Oh, this is really small. I should have brought my piece of paper up here. Okay. So I am going to call off the names. Thank you, Sarah. And please forgive me if I mispronounce your name, if I put the wrong emphasis on a certain part of your name or don't say a vowel right. Just please forgive me. And if you want to raise your hand or stand for a minute when I call your name, that's fine. But I will ask all of the new employees to stand when I am done, and then we'll give everyone a welcome and a round of applause. Okay. Lacey Brown, Nathan Dunn, Suzanne Fenton, Kristen Landreville, Peyton Ferguson, Brian Godfrey, Aiden Lewis, Mia Mitchell, Aleem Muhammad, James Porch, Kira Stash, Lee Thomas, Amy Nonino, Shingbo Shu, Pooja Ambrish, Ryan Cox, Lori McCaleb, John Euling, Sasha Medina, Marnie Metzler, Demos Katsis, Jennifer Coma, Jennifer Hableeb, Sophia Colon, Lauren Maynard, Andrea Monteza, Anna Grant, Sarah Moldova, Mariko Polk, Jeffrey Lacken, Mallory McKinley, David McSweeney, Nakia Wilson, Matthew McGlory, Gary Workman, and Natalie Young. So if you all could please stand, and we'll give you all a big welcome and a round of applause. Thank you all again. I am going to ask Sarah Afif to come up so she can announce the Employee Service Awards.
Oh, I guess I need my slides too. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Afif. I'm the Human Resources Specialist with Office of Research and Innovation. I'm here today to announce and celebrate with you all the employees who have completed their years of service, and as well as those who have retired during the year 2023. So I'm going to start with those employees who have completed 5 years of service with the North Carolina State and the university. It's Ashley Morera, Nirupama Bave, Daniel Cobble, Narmina Murphy, Kehain Pyo, Maggie Ebbs, Yasha Swisher, Whitney Stutz, Andrea McCarrick, Frankie Lopez, Sarah Spiegler, Sasha Campbell, Ji-Young Park, Carla Monroe, Russell Villard, Janice Belizaire, and Kristen Bloomkist. Ten years of service, Matthew Kulieni, Thomas Zechkowski, Allison Wilson, Scott Wickens, Sandra Canfield, Eric Lawrence, Patrick Crowley, Annette Moore, Ken Roth. 15 years of service, Benoit Mays, Erica Young. 20 years of service, Linda Dunn, Christopher Cunningham, Michael Baker, Sarah Mirabello, my apologies, Kathleen McFadden. 25 years of service, Michael Huskins, Kathleen Patterson, Sherry Settle. Those who retired during the year 2023, Nicholas Justice, Paula DeLong, Elizabeth Lusky, Wendy Moore, Janice Mills, Linda Copley, and Lisa Dyer. Congratulations and thank you.
Do we have the slides for Pride of the Wolfpack? I think we're going to come up over here. You can just use this. Oh, okay. All right, so I would like to announce the 2023 Pride of the Wolfpack winners. And first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to all of you. This award is given to the individuals that exemplify NC State's values of excellence, community, inclusion, freedom, integrity, collaboration, and sustainability. What makes ORI so successful is that we have so many dedicated employees that live NC State's values, and you all are an example of that. I also want to give a shout out to all the people who took the time out of their busy schedule to nominate these individuals. This couldn't happen without all of you as well. So with that, I'd like to say if you could actually come up as I call your name, and Dr. Vogt will provide you with your certificate, and then if you could go across the stage and meet with Sarah to get your Pride of the Wolf Pack Cup and gift certificate. So it will be first, our April winner is Janice Belizaire. The next one is Pamela Bunce. Congratulations. Mary Millsap. Kyle Mullaney. Kathleen Patterson. Gail Platt-Britt. Amanda Krenzel. Evan McNeil. Carla Monroe. Okay. Oop, sorry about that. Candace Morales. And the October winners are Lacey Brown, Maggie Epps, Kevin Schroeder, Luke Tabor, and finally Roberta Terry. Congratulations. So I just want to say congratulations to all of you, and it was so nice to actually put some faces to names in person. Thank you so much.
Just want to echo that. Fantastic. And thank you very much for your efforts.
We did finish up a few minutes early, so I'm going to ask for just a 5-minute break, just to make sure our catering is able to be put out and available for us. So I mentioned earlier, if you need to use the restrooms, it's straight across in the yellow alcove. But maybe this is a good time to work through your crossword puzzles at your tables with your colleagues. And I'll get back up once the catering is ready to go and we're ready to start lunch. So give us just a couple minutes. Lunch is ready and to be served, and so I do want to note there are two sides of the buffet line, so please utilize both sides of the table when getting your meals. And we're just going to line up here, and I'm not going to call tables like a wedding. I'm just going to have you line up when you're ready to get your food, and just make sure we're using both sides of the table. I also want to encourage you to walk around and talk to some of your staff members you haven't seen in a while or haven't met before. This is a great time to do that. So lunch is served.